Yay, happy Friday. That's if you're watching it live. Trish Jenkins here, continuing to read Treasures of Darkness, and I was looking forward to this one. There were notes in my journal. Now, while I'm here, if this has started, I've got this on my author page. I have started Trish TV, but I've got it on my author page so that there we are, and I'm going to share it to my personal page. Yay, done. Okay, there we are, shared to my timeline. So feel free to watch, comment, say g'day. I'd love to see you there, or you might be watching this later on. So anyway, this is not a letter. This is a journal notes. So I'm just reading that much today. Okie dokie. So hello, whoever's watching. All right, this is a good one. I remember this lady. A very scary black girl, Vi, arrived. She's Indigenous, very tall, very hard looking. She joined our meal table and pointed out where she had scratched a pattern on it during a previous visit as a way of claiming the table. Everyone seemed afraid of her. Now, I'm not completely stupid, so I knew enough to stay quiet. As it turned out, there were advantages to having her at our table. It's common for sneaky people to steal other tables' allotted margarine or sugar. Now, you know what? I can actually find a picture of what it looks like. Let me see. Pictures. Let me see. I should have thought of this before, but anyway, OneDrive. So this will be in my prison pics photos. Ta-da. There. And it's going to come up, and then I'll share the screen when I find the photo. So yeah, you'd think we wouldn't be too shocked at theft in our there's the folder, and where's one that shows what it looks like? I think, yeah, that one pretty much shows what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to, I'll bring that over there. Oh, hang on, gotta make that bigger before I show it to you. All right, so I'm going to share screen. This one. And there we are. So this is what it looks like. They're the tables, and at the bottom of the screen behind there is where the entrance is, and off to this. Now this is a men's prison, and I can tell you that because the doors are blue. And the women's one, if I scroll, let me see, I should be able to go backwards and forwards here to show you some other ones. Let's see, is that going to do it? No, that's not it. That's one of them. That's that pic. No. And this is what it also looks like here. So you can see that's where the cells are, and to the side is the yard area. Anyway, I just thought you might like to see what the inside looks like again. All right, so we'll get rid of that, and I'll keep reading. Anyway, we sat at one of these like this, where she pointed out the scratch on there and said she did that last time she was here. Okay, so yeah, she was very intimidating, really, really scary. I think she looks like she's about in her early 20s, I guess. All right, so there was an advantage to having her at our table, and because you're allotted a table, you know, certain cell numbers go to certain tables pretty much all the time. So it's common for sneaky people to steal other tables' allotted margarine or sugar. Well, our margarine went missing, and Vi went off. Now, it's not her real name, and this is a journal entry, because if I'd written this in a letter, then the officers would have read it and she would have got in trouble and all sorts of things would have happened. So this is just in my journal notes. So here's Vi. She just went off. Her brand of language, her threats and persuasion were delivered so well, it was almost poetry. She finished her threat with, "And don't think I won't, because I've done it before." She talked about finding it if she has to climb up inside someone's you know what. Yep. Afterwards, and she never looked at me. She didn't. The racism that goes on in there, it's quite common for some of the Indigenous girls. Some of them just will not even look at you or speak to you, and I was invisible, and so she did this speech standing up, and then she sat down at our table. I just thought she was magnificent. She was really impressive, and so I quietly leaned over the table towards her and said, "I'm very glad you're on our table." Up until then, she had ignored me because she made it clear she hates white girls. But now she glanced at me with a nod. Just gave me that, you know, that very cool kind of nod. Sometime later, she mentioned that she had been to Helena Jones before, and I asked her what it was like. So Helena Jones is the place you go to when you've been classified as being, better behaved or non-violent, low risk kind of stuff. And that's where I was hoping to get to. And she'd been there. And I then asked her, "So have you got any advice for me?" She said, "Yeah, be a dog." I was surprised. I won't do that. Now, in America, they talk about top dog. In Australia, when we talk about being a dog, it's the equivalent of what Americans would call a rat. So it'd be someone who's a tattletale and not respected at all in the system, and carrying favour with the officers, and generally not someone that you would want to be around or respect or have anything to do with. And so she's telling me to do that. I just said, "I won't do that." And she looked at me. "Yeah? You're going there because you're a stiff. You better be a dog too, because that's what they do there." So I'm going there because I'm a stiff. So I'd better be a dog because that's what they do over there. And I just said, "That's not me," I replied. She grinned. I couldn't believe she was recommending I play that game. Someone else took me aside and said, "Look, don't go talking about the God stuff at Helena Jones. We like it here, but they won't. Just be quiet." So there was someone else who knew what Helena Jones was like. And in italics, I wrote afterwards, Vi turned out to be right about the tattletales, but I still didn't take her advice. And I figured, we're already being punished. I had no interest in carrying favour with the officers, with our captors, by dropping someone else into trouble. It might sound strange, but to me it was an integrity issue. I learned later that in prison terms it was called being staunch. I know these values are messed up, but you're already a prisoner. You're already in trouble, and tattletaling on other people. I really don't care what other people do in there to get along, to do whatever they do. If it didn't affect me, I wasn't going to go and get them in more trouble. So I was much more interested in, I just wanted to get everybody saved and pray with them, and I was starting to really have an affection for them. So, some of them are scallywags, some of them are really awful, but I was certainly not going to do the officer's job for them. Anyway, so that's that journal entry. You don't have to agree with me. You might have done it differently. And by all means, do something that puts you in prison and do it how you would like to do it. But I wouldn't really recommend it. All right. Bless you heaps, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.